Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. My name is Vince and thanks for joining me for another episode of Secrets of the Trails. Today I am in Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania, ready to check out the Great Allegheny Passage segment from Ohiopyle to Connellsville. Now, when you think of quintessential trailhead towns along the Great Allegheny Passage, Ohiopyle is absolutely in the top 5. I mean, this town is just made for the trail user and the outdoor enthusiast. Ohiopyle has made its reputation as the whitewater benchmark of the East, since it's right in the middle of Ohiopyle State Park and the Youghiogheny River's famous rapids that draw thousands every year to experience the thrill. Ohiopyle also offers many amenities for the trail user, including 4 outfitters offering a wide variety of trail and river activities, restaurants, ice cream shops, guest houses, and other local shops. The main trailhead parking area is right here by the former train station. It's accessible from Sheridan Street. It is lined and paved with space for over 40 vehicles and several designated handicap spots. There is a second parking area behind here with more space, but this is often used for river access. There's also a secondary parking area at the Ferncliff Peninsula lot on the other side of PA Route 31 that also provides direct access to the trail. As you can see, this is a very large lot, but it's all gravel and unlined. It does actually provide direct access to the trail since the trail runs alongside of it, and it also provides direct access to the town across the bridge. But this is only the second of 3 major parking areas here at Ohiopyle. The third one is here at Riverside, accessed off of Main Street or PA Route 381. This lot is near the Ohiopyle State Park Visitor Center and the Falls Observation Decks. If you use this lot, it's not technically trailside, so you have to ride through the town a bit to get to the trail. Just remember, both the main lot trailside and this Riverside lot can get very crowded during summer afternoons. So before we mount up and check out this segment, let's take a quick look at the history of this trailhead town, Ohiopyle.
Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania is a small but historically significant town located in Fayette County in the southwestern part of the state within the Allegheny Mountains. The area's name, Ohiopyle, comes from the Native American language and is often translated either as "it turns very white" or "the place of the white water," referring to Ohiopyle Falls on the Youghiogheny River. Before European settlers arrived, the region was inhabited by various Native American tribes, primarily the Shawnee and the Delaware. The area was an important site for the tribes due to the river and its surrounding natural resources. In the mid-1750s, the French and the British vied for the Ohio River Valley. Employed by the British, George Washington traveled through the Ohiopyle area to talk to the French in 1753. And in 1754, Washington arrived at nearby confluence and tried to find an easier travel route by river. However, the falls at Ohiopyle were impassable. By the late 1700s, European settlers, mostly of Scotch-Irish and German descent, began arriving to the area, drawn by the natural beauty, including the falls, and the fertile land suitable for agriculture. The town began to grow as settlers established farms and other small communities nearby. By the mid-1800s, the arrival of the railroads and the development of the coal and iron industries brought significant change to Ohiopyle. The Youghiogheny River, which was once a vital route for Native Americans and early settlers, became a key transportation route for goods, especially coal. This brought new people to the area, many of whom worked the mills and the mines. In the 20th century, Ohiopyle's focus shifted from industry to recreation. In 1952, Ohiopyle State Park was established, transforming the area into a major destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The park, which spans over 20,000 acres, offers hiking, biking, whitewater rafting, and camping, becoming one of the most popular tourist spots in Pennsylvania. It's also nationally recognized as one of the country's best areas for whitewater rafting. The Ohiopyle Falls, a prominent feature of the park, continues to be a symbol of the town, drawing visitors with its natural beauty and the opportunities for adventure along the river. Today, Ohiopyle has retained its small-town charm despite becoming a major hub for outdoor recreation. As one of the major trail towns along the Great Allegheny Passage, Ohiopyle caters to the many visitors it receives year-round with a number of options for lodging, outdoor outfitters, restaurants, coffee shops, and other businesses that make visits to the community comfortable for those just spending a few hours, a few days, or just making Ohiopyle an overnight stop along their way. Ohiopyle's rich history, combined with its natural beauty, makes it a unique blend of historical interest and outdoor adventure as the southern gateway to the Laurel Highlands.
Okay, so it's time to mount up and check out the Great Allegheny Passage segment between Ohiopyle and Connellsville. Hope you enjoyed that look at the history of Ohiopyle, and we're going to start our trail ride here at the converted train station. This section of the trail is all concrete and it's very wide, has a large area of seating available. A couple of interpretive signs that will show up here in a second. Right on the start of the trail, we come immediately to the 620-foot Ohiopyle Low Bridge. At just 30 feet above the river, you really get some fantastic views of the Ohiopyle Falls as well as the town itself if you turn around. And right off the bat, here's a little bit of cycling etiquette. Ohiopyle during the season can be extremely busy, and this section of the trail from the trailhead about 2 miles down to the Ohiopyle High Bridge can get very congested with walkers at times, so you want to be very, very careful going through this section. I've ridden this section of the trail a number of times, and there was one time during the summer a couple of years ago that it was so congested that I actually had to stop and walk my bike across this entire bridge. I'm going to show you some additional pictures or video of the falls a little bit lower down. Down there, it's really spectacular. Here are the falls that I was talking about. You can actually see the power of this thing. And this is such an iconic spot for everybody to take selfies. Okay, you talked me into it. Is that good enough? Okay, let's move on. So running down this beautiful little remade bridge. It was remade in 1999 off of the piles of the original bridge for the Western Maryland Railway. Now, if you can't, for some weird reason, find parking space at the primary trailhead, the Ferncliff parking area here is right off of Route 381, and it does have instant access to the trail itself. So there's another parking area for you just in case you actually need it. I'm surprised that the trail is not as congested as it is today, because it's a beautiful weekend day here in southwestern Pennsylvania. And now we're coming to the Ohiopyle High Bridge, 663 feet long. It soars over the Youghiogheny about 115 feet below it. This is usually, again, a very congested bridge because everybody likes to stop along the side and watch the rafters coming down. I don't know if we have any rafters today. Nope, not yet. Although, I saw a little bit of red down there. If we stay long enough, we'll probably see somebody coming down. But we've got a lot to do today, folks, so we're just going to let it go. Oh, there's one. All right. You came here for this video. There you get to see a couple of rafters. Actually, they're going down right now. So, fantastic water sport and a fantastic town to house all the water sports. I'm just not into rafting, guys. Coming off of the bridge, the rest of the treadway for this segment of the trail is all crushed limestone, about 8 to 10 feet on average. And from here all the way down to pretty much Camp Carmel, which is effectively the halfway point, it's all pretty much downhill, about a 1% downslope. Most of the views on this segment of the trail go between nice forested areas like this and some views of the Youghiogheny that will be to our right. Again, can be very busy at times, especially these first several miles. Mind behind you. So as always on this section, the first 3 miles of it or so, just use the traditional cycling etiquette, call out like I always do. And somebody asked me one time, why do you say mind your left or mind behind you instead of on your left or behind you? And it just doesn't seem American, does it? And actually, I don't think it is, because I hear so many other cyclists just calling out on your left, behind you. But I actually had a friend some time ago who lived in Canada, and we did some biking up there in Canada. I actually want to take my GoPros up there and retrace some of those trails. That's going to be my long-term goal, I guess. But he kept saying, mind your left, mind your left. I don't know. I think it just grew on me. Maybe I just want to be different. Get very gentle downslope when you're taking this from Ohiopyle to Connellsville. It seems a little bit tougher whenever you're coming back if you're doing this as an out and back. It's really not that bad. I'm going to love to hear this in post-production, because I think my Rode microphone is picking up a lot of the leaf crunching noise as I go across them. It's at about mile 74 here, a couple of miles away from the trailhead, and this is about where all of the busyness on the trail stops, and people tend to turn around at this point if they're walking. So from here to closer to Connellsville, it's a lot less congested. Another one of these little segments that seems to have been carved out of more solid rock. You can hear the train going on the other side. We're not going to be able to see it because of all the foliage, but you can hear it. Mile 75, and now we're able to get a little bit more of the river views that you could see on the right there.
So a little past Gap Mile 45, we come up to two hiking trails that lead off to some really cool waterfalls deeper in the forest off of the trail. The first one here is for Jonathan Run. From the trail side, you really can't see much at this time of the year, but if you come before all the foliage starts or after the leaves fall in the autumn, you'll be able to see the lower portion of Jonathan Run over there as it makes its way down to the Youghiogheny River. To get to the falls, you have to leave the gap and hike up the trail. Rusty Glessner runs PABucketList.com, and he has a fantastic write-up with cool pictures on the Jonathan Run waterfall that we can't see from here. You can also check on YouTube here. There are a number of videos made by hikers of their treks up the Jonathan Run falls and the other one that we'll see in a minute. So a little way further here on the gap, we come to the intersection with Mitchell Field Trail and Sugar Run. The falls, when you can see them, would be in the back portion of Rusty's picture here, which is pretty much where we're standing right now. During the spring and summer, you'd have to take a brief trek up Mitchell Field Trail to see the falls. Again, check out Rusty's website, PABucketList.com, for more pictures and GPS coordinates of the falls, so you can do your own hikes to these and other really cool water features here at Ohiopyle State Park that we're just briefly touching on in this video.
Some of these pink markers looks like they're getting ready to cut down some of these trees here. No doubt they'll probably do that once the season is over. Mile 76. There are on this segment of the trail a good number of really decent straightaways. If you're pedaling hard downhill, you can get some speed. If you're pedaling uphill, and yeah, you wonder when it's going to end. You see some really decently sized boulders and rocks on the opposite side of the trail from the river. Nature, gotta love it. There are also along this segment several of those wood spikes that have different geologic feature marking codes on them. We saw that several episodes ago in the Garrett to Rockwood segment, and I haven't really taken the time to look and see what all of the codes mean, but they're there. They're just a little bit shorter to the ground. You'll see them on the right-hand side of the trail as you're going towards Connellsville. We're coming up to an intersection on the trail. It's actually pretty much the only intersection that we'll see along this portion around Ohiopyle State Park. There's a river access down that way. So we're going to stop here and walk the bike over because that can be pretty tricky. Okay. And back on the trail, a nice little seating area and a bicycle repair station there, right around mile marker 78. And about 78 and a half or so, we have a nice little S-bend here, going up and over. I think they redid this some time ago because the pipeline repair that they needed to do. But right at this section, I'm going to stop and turn around. Right around this bend, you get a fantastic view of the Youghiogheny River, particularly in season. Right now, the foliage is still there, but if you come in early spring or late fall, most of this foliage is not there, and it's absolutely beautiful. They're on mile 79. We're getting close to Camp Carmel, or Camp Carmel, if you prefer. Again, a lot of straightaways on this section of the trail. Really nice going through the forested areas here. And what do I always say? Nice, peaceful, relaxing, take your time or hurry up, doesn't matter. This kind of scenery, biking this kind of a trail on this beautiful type of a day, better than yoga. Mile 80. Another little stream going across here. Some more views of the river on the right. Seems a little bit calmer now. And just after mile 81, there's an access road there for what we'll see up above here is Camp Carmel, or Camp Carmel, if you prefer. So Camp Carmel, or Carmel, whichever one it is. The owners of this property, please let me know which one it is. I don't want to mispronounce it if you're pronouncing it a different way. But it's a Baptist camp, and I've seen it actually in use earlier in the summer. This is later in the summer, and it's probably not going to be used until the spring again. But this is about the halfway point, more or less, on the trail. But this is actually the lowest point on this segment of the trail. We actually just came through that 1% or so downslope, and then we're going to start in about a half a mile or so, start a gradual upslope up to Connellsville. From here down to Connellsville, the river actually has a few little small little white caps, but it's actually, with those few exceptions, pretty calm. And right about here is where we start getting that upslope. Mild at first, turns into about a 1.5 or 2% as we get closer to Connellsville, but that's just for a brief period, about a mile or so. Nice wide vista of the river right here at mile marker 84. Yeah, you can see it's pretty calm right now. But this is typical of the Youghiogheny River. This section seems so wide, and there are other sections that we'll see in future episodes where it seems like you can almost jump across it. In this section here, just be careful, there's a quick drop off on the right, and we get a little bit more of an upslope here. This is probably about a 1.5 or 2%. I left my inclinometer at home, unfortunately, so I'm guesstimating. And right about here, I'm going to stop for a second. This is supposedly Great Passage Falls, but late summer, been a little dry. There isn't a lot of water flowing through here. Actually, not any water flowing here through it at all. But I have seen times this is actually pretty incredible. So again, early spring, late fall, we'll probably get more water flow coming through Great Passage Falls here. It is actually a nice peaceful spot to sit and relax for a bit on your way up the hill towards Connellsville. But unfortunately, no water there today. We're coming pretty close to effectively the top of the hill. I believe that's a water filtration plant down to the right there. And there's a unofficial parking area, I guess, for the trail just off to the right here. It actually goes down that way, whereas the trail continues up the hill. And there's another train. Very active rail lines over that way, folks. CSX, Amtrak use those lines daily. And here at mile 87, we're at the top of the hill. There's a walking path. I haven't actually ever explored it. I might explore it at some point. Sheepskin trails, you can see it's a offshoot. I guess you can actually bike that, but maybe we'll bike that at some point in time.
Ahead of us are going to be two bridges. The first one you can see ahead is the Ballast Bridge, and the other one is the Dunbar Creek Viaduct.
So these are pretty decent trestle bridges. However, you have, as you can probably see and hear, the steel plating that goes across on either end. We'll stop here in the middle, and part of the town of Connellsville in that direction. Obviously a power substation here, and the rest of the valley on this side. Sheepskin Trail goes down that way. Again, we'll explore that at some point. The rest of the treadway on this bridge, as well as the viaduct bridge, is all wooden plank with those steel crossbars. From here on in, since we are fairly close, we're within about a mile and a half or so of the end, you will see a little bit more congestion from time to time. Again, today seems to be a pretty weird day. I'd expect to see more people on the trail today. Again, some additional views of the valley here on the viaduct bridge. Same wooden planking and the steel plate crossbeams. Just be careful on the viaduct bridge. These large plates are stuck up high, maybe about an inch or more, so you want to just go over them carefully. Mind your left. And the trail returns to a small upslope here until we get to a paved area and the top of the next hill, right around mile marker 88 here. Right about here, the trail converts to pavement. However, this little section until we get to street level can be pretty bumpy here, especially on the downslope, so just be aware of that. First Energy station over here, the local power supplier. So you can probably see in here, this part is a little bumpy. Maybe they'll come out at some point and grind those bumps down. We've got a trail barrier right here. This part's actually worse, guys. Yow. You can hear it. And right about here, the treadway is narrowing. It's about maybe about 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet here in this little tiny segment. That's a stop sign for the road, not us. But this is a stop sign for us. So this is South 1st Street, and it actually narrows up with South 3rd Street, which is right there. That's a one-way street, but this is a two-way, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Connellsville Borough. But right here, the trail, the official trail, cuts over and follows South 3rd Street all the way up to Youghiogheny River Park, where the Connellsville trailhead is. The trail actually crosses some local roads here, so you will see some stop signs and trail barriers across these sections here. There is a bike shop here in Connellsville, Bikes Unlimited. The main entrance is on Crawford Street there, but I think they might be closed today, but it is an active bike shop. Nice thing about this roadway here is they have the sensors on the road for the bikes. Hello, isn't that wonderful? Connellsville is another nice trail-friendly town, and we'll get more into that in the next episode. And the trail crosses over at mile 89. Here is the official trailhead area. There are actually two trailheads. We'll get more into that in the next episode. But we're going to stop here at Youghiogheny River Park, which is pretty much the focal point in between the two trailhead parking areas. And where all the official gap signage is. Here at Gap Mile 89, we've reached Youghiogheny Park and the major Connellsville trailhead. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the Great Allegheny Passage segment from Ohiopyle to Connellsville. This is a peaceful 18-mile point-to-point segment, one of the longest on the Great Allegheny Passage, but its length is not outdone by its peaceful surrounding, forest vistas, and breathtaking views of the Youghiogheny River, both in its more relaxed mode and its rapids closer to Ohiopyle. It also gives a mild challenge for some bikers who like to do lengthy uphill climbs. But here at Youghiogheny Park, this is only part of the story of the Connellsville Trailhead and the next quintessential trailhead town on the Gap. Confluence, Ohiopyle, Connellsville. Three major trailhead towns in a row for the Great Allegheny Passage. But we'll explore this trailhead town in more detail next time. But for now, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time for another episode of Secrets of the Trails. Have a great ride.